We now turn to look at the second category of God's names. These names are sanctified in Jewish law, which limits their pronunciation and prohibits erasing them, or even one of their letters, or treating them with disrespect, once they have been written down. One in Kabbalah, each name of God is seen to manifest the divine power inherent in one of the Sephirot. Thus, each of the Sephirot has a name that corresponds to it in particular. Pronounced Iki Asher Iki. Just as the name Havaya derives from the Hebrew root to be, so does this name. Literally, the name Iki means I will be. Unlike the name Havaya, which never appears in the Bible explicitly as a verb form, he shall bring into being Iki, or, when not a name of God, pronounced He, appears frequently in the Bible as a verb in its literal sense of I will be. In fact, in the entire Bible, it appears only 3 times in reference to the Almighty, all 3 in one verse during God's dialogue with Moses at the burning bush. There, God charged Moses with the mission of redeeming the Jewish people from Egypt, and Moses said to God, "Behold, when I come to the people of Israel, and shall say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say to them?" And God said to Moses, "I will be that which I will be," and he said, "Thus shall you say to the people of Israel, I will be has sent me to you." To Chapter 9, The Sanctified Names. 147 is a name of God. Iki retains its literal meaning of I will be, implying new birth or revelation of self. The above quote says that the essence of God's self, as it were, will be revealed with the spiritual birth of the Jewish people through their redemption from exile. Thus, there is a double revelation occurring. At one and the same time, the Jewish people are born into the world, while at the same time, God becomes manifest in reality through their birth. These simultaneous revelations are alluded to in the phrase, I will be that which I will be. The first I will be reflects God's manifestation, while the second refers to the birth of the souls of Israel from the supernal womb. According to this interpretation, I will be that which I will be reads, I will be revealed in the world by means of the birth of my people Israel into the world, that is, their redemption from Egypt, for my very essence is identified with my children's essence and their birth is my birth. Iki as God's manifestation of his self corresponds to the Sephirah of crown. Iki as the supernal womb from which the souls of Israel are born corresponds to the Sephirah of understanding, which, as noted, is known as the mother. It follows then that the Hebrew word meaning that which, that links the two names, in this phrase corresponds to the Sephirah of wisdom. We then have the following correspondence for the first 3 Sephirot. Crown I will be. Understanding I will be. Wisdom. That which more precisely, the name Iki in both of its manifestations corresponds to the Sephirah of crown. The first Iki refers to the superconscious aspect of the crown, that which is yet to be revealed. The second Iki refers to the preconscious aspect of the crown, that which is about to be revealed. In the terminology of Kabbalah, the full name I will be that which I will be is the origin 148. What you need to know about Kabbalah of the first 3 Sephirot, crown, wisdom, and understanding, in the Sephirah of crown itself. From their origin in the superconscious crown, the 2 conscious Sephirot of wisdom and understanding appear. The vessels of wisdom and understanding are associated with 2 other sanctified names, wisdom with the name Ka and understanding with the variant vocalization of Havaya as Aluka mentioned in the previous chapter. Let us look at these 2 names. Pronounced Ka. This name is composed of the first 2 letters of the essential name Havaya, and appears twice in the 5 books of Moses 3 and many times throughout the rest of the Bible. It signifies the divine essence of the Sephirah of wisdom. In the name Havaya, the first 2 letters, as explained above, correspond to the 2 Sephirot of wisdom and understanding. In the holy name Ka, these 2 letters represent the Sephirot of wisdom and understanding as they are reflected in the Sephirah of wisdom itself. Because this holy name is essentially a fragment, 2 letters out, of the complete, 4-letter, name Havaya, for to better understand what it represents, we need to see how the first 2 letters of Havaya relate to its last 2. The first 2 letters correspond to the concealed dimension of the name Havaya, while the last 2 letters correspond to its revealed dimension 5 specifically. The first 2 letters refer to a concealed form of God's providence, while the last two refer to its revealed nature. In the Tanya, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi develops this notion, further explaining that the concealed nature of divine providence corresponding to the first two letters of the name Havaya results from its being unfathomable to the human mind. In truth, even this concealed divine providence is good in its essence, but the good is too great to be grasped by our limited understanding and is therefore mistaken for bad. Nonetheless, we are taught that through the sincere expression of praise, one brings out the praiseworthy attribute in the one praised. Thus, by continually Chapter 9, the Sanctified Names, 149 praising Ka, the source of God's concealed providence, we merit to reveal and experience the infinite good and pleasure hidden in apparent suffering, and thereby to transform the pain itself into pleasure and to heal the affliction. The Book of Psalms, more than any other book in the Bible, praises the Almighty through His holy name, Ka. Famous from Psalms is the expression, Hallelujah, which means praise Ka. In fact, the conclusion of the entire book of Psalms is the verse, every soul shall praise Ka, Hallelujah. The sages explain that the Hebrew word meaning, every soul, in this verse can also be rendered so as to mean, every breath, implying that ideally, each and every breath of life should be imbued with a conscious praise of God. 6. Then, even the apparent suffering one experiences in life can suddenly be revealed as God's overwhelming goodness. Pronounced Elukim? We already had a short encounter with this name in the previous chapter. It is a vocalization of Havaya with the vowel signs of the name Elukim, in Hebrew, Havaya Benekad Elukim. It represents the manner in which the relatively masculine loving-kindness inherent in the name Havaya sweetens the relatively feminine harshness represented by the name Elukim. This sweetening process takes place within the feminine sephira of understanding, the higher mother principle. Sweetening the harsh judgmental character of the sephira of understanding is considered the complementary task to the clarification and elevation of the fallen sparks. 7. While elevation of the sparks concentrates on the fallen energy in the mundane, the sweetening of the harsh judgments concentrates on constricted states of consciousness that prevent a balanced and inclusive understanding of the opposing forces that make up our mundane reality. In a sense, sweetening the harsh judgments is akin to expanding one's consciousness so that it can bear the fallen state of reality. 8150. What you need to know about Kabbalah. This name also alludes to contemplative meditation, hitbonenut, in Hebrew, which is the primary method for sweetening the harsh judgments of understanding and expanding consciousness. Contemplative meditation is symbolized in chassidut by a goblet full of wine. The goblet symbolizing the mind and the wine symbolizing the topic of meditation. The numerical value of the word goblet, in Hebrew, is 86, the same as the numerical value of name Elukim. The numerical value of the Hebrew word for wine equals 70, the same value as the sum of this name's vowel signs. 9. Pronounced Akva. This name is often referred to as the goodly name of God, because its numerical value, 17, is equal to that of the Hebrew word for good. It represents the primordial light of the first day of creation that God saw to be good. 10. And then concealed. This light will only be revealed to the world in the future. 11. Like the concealed primordial light that it represents, this name of God is hidden and does not explicitly appear in the Bible. But it appears implicitly. Its 4 letters are encoded in many biblical phrases. The first, and most fundamental instance is in the very first verse of the Torah, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. 12. In this verse, the holy name is encoded as the initial letters of the 4 words the heavens and the earth. The encoding of Akva 13 in this phrase reveals that God's purpose in creation is to manifest His infinite divine goodness throughout reality, particularly by unifying the 2 realms of the heavens and the earth, that is, the spiritual and the physical realms. Because it signifies the divine power to unite spirituality, heavens, and physicality, earth, this divine name is associated with the sephira of knowledge. Knowledge is the hidden unifying force within the 10 sephirot, just as the name Akva is hidden throughout the Torah, creating unifications throughout its text. 14. Chapter 9, the Sanctified Names. 151. In the Bible, the power to unify, to bind 2 things together, is described as good. 15. Thus, in Kabbalah, the name Akva is related in particular to the origin of loving-kindness in the sephira of knowledge, the concentrated power of the mind, knowledge, to elicit love in the heart, loving kindness. In Chesed, this name plays a special role. The name of the founder of Chesed, the Baal Shem Tov, literally means the master of the goodly name, specifically referring to the name Akva, the goodly name. The Baal Shem Tov's soul came to the world to reveal the divine power of this name. He taught that the soul of Israel possesses the ability to be in heaven, in Yiddish, Ois Welt, literally, out of the world and on earth, in Welt, in the world simultaneously, thus serving as the divine bridge to draw down the light of heaven to shine on earth, and thereby to fulfill Isaiah's words to be a light unto the nations. 16. Pronounced Kale like the name Ka, the two letters that make up this name of the Almighty, Aleph and Lamed, are the first two letters of another name, Elukim. Literally, as a Hebrew root, this name means power. In Kabbalah, this name is associated with the Sephirah of loving kindness, as in the verse, the loving kindness of Kale is manifest all day. 17. Thus, Kale signifies God's creative power, his unfaltering commitment to continually recreate and sustain the world through loving kindness, as we learn from the Bible that the world is built through loving kindness. 18. Pronounced Elukim. This name generally signifies the divine attribute of judgment inherent in the Sephirah of might. In the Bible, the same word, in a non-sacred context, means an angel. 19. Or a judge. 20. In Kabbalah, the divine court, where man is judged for his deeds on earth, is located in the spiritual chamber, Heikel, of the Sephirah of might. 152. What you need to know about Kabbalah. Though its main association is with the Sephirah of might, this name also manifests in 221 other Sephirot, understanding and kingdom. 22. In understanding, in addition to Havaya vocalized as Elukim, the Almighty, as the source of all life force, is called the living God, Elukim Chaim. As relating to kingdom, God manifests through this name as the inner essence of nature and its laws. The numerical value of Elukim and the numerical value of nature. In Hebrew, both being 86, as noted above. Pronounced Adni? As already explained in the previous chapter, the common form, vocalization, of the name Havaya is manifest as the vessel of the Sephirah of beauty, the embodiment of the divine attribute of mercy. 23. Pronounced Zvakat. As a word, Tzavayat means hosts, or armies, and corresponds to the divine power inherent in the Sephirah of victory and acknowledgement. Through its means the forces of good are victorious in their war against the forces of evil, causing the evil itself to surrender to the good, that is, to acknowledge the superiority and authority of the good. The name Tzvakat always appears following another name. When it follows the name Havaya, the combined name refers, in particular, to the Sephirah of victory. When it follows Elukim, the combined name refers to the Sephirah of acknowledgement. Tzvakat does not appear in the 5 books of Moses as a name of God. Its first appearance as a holy name is in the beginning of the book of Samuel 24, when Chanah, Samuel's mother, beseeches God to give her a child, and she, Chanah, vowed a vow, and said, O God of hosts, Havaya Tzvakat, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant, and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give to your maidservant a male child. Chapter 9, The Sanctified Names. 153. Then I will give him to God all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. God answered her prayer and gave her a son, who became the prophet Samuel and who was weighed as equal to Moses and Aaron. 25. Moses and Aaron are the archetypal souls corresponding to the Sephirah of victory and acknowledgement respectively, the Sephirah from which all levels of prophecy derive, according to Kabbalah. In Chanah's prayer, this name of God is combined with the name Havaya and corresponds in particular to the Sephirah of victory eternity. In Kabbalah, the prophet Samuel personifies the ultimate rectification of the Sephirah of victory eternity, which had been blemished from the time that Esau's angel injured Jacob's thigh. 26. After Israel's victory over the nation of Amalek, Esau's grandson, and the arch-enemy of Israel and the Almighty, Samuel said, The eternity of Israel shall neither deceive nor regret, for no mortal is he to regret. 27. In this verse, Samuel calls God the eternity of Israel, Netzach Uriel, clearly associating his figure with this name and the Sephirah of victory eternity. Pronounced Shakai. This is the holy name whose literal meaning is the Almighty. In Kabbalah, it is generally associated with the Sephirah of foundation, which like its name, refers to the base upon which all existence stands. The sages reveal that God used the name Shakari to halt the expansion of creation. The letters of this name are thus seen as an acronym for the words, "Who said enough to his world," 28, a description of the Creator. The name Shakari represents God's power to limit creation's natural tendency to expand infinitely. More generally, limiting the natural tendencies of creation can be understood as performing miracles. Unlike the essential four-letter name of God, Havaya, which is often associated with miracles 154. What you need to know about Kabbalah that openly define nature and its laws, Shakari is associated with those miracles that change the course of nature while remaining concealed and enclosed within these same laws. The power to limit the inertia of endless expanse is the classic example of such a concealed miracle. The name Shakari often appears together with the name Kael as Kael Shakai. Before unleashing the 10 plagues on Egypt, a series of supernatural miracles reflecting the power of Havaya, God compared the name Havaya, now to be revealed to Moses and the children of Israel, to the name Kael Shakai, the name by which he had revealed himself to the patriarchs. 29. And I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob by Kael Shakai. But by my name Havaya I was not known to them. Pronounced Adni? The name Adni literally means my master. In Kabbalah, it is associated with the Sephirah of kingdom. The name Adni acts as a garb, a revelatory vessel, for the essential name Havaya. The relationship between these two names of God was first alluded to in God's words to Moses at the burning bush, "This is my name forever and this is my remembrance from generation to generation." 30. My name refers to the name Havaya, while my remembrance, which can also be read as my annunciation, refers to the name Adni. From this we learn that we are to pronounce the name Havaya as Adni in prayer or when reciting a verse of the Torah. The name Adni, representing God's immanence, serves to reflect the name Havaya, representing God's transcendence, as it manifests itself in the created dimensions of time and space. To summarize this chapter, let us present the sanctified names of God and their correspondence to the vessels of the Sephirot in chart form. Chapter 9, The Sanctified Names. 155. Crown, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, might, loving kindness, beauty, acknowledgement, victory, foundation, kingdom. Notes. 1. Shulchan Aruch, Yordia 276-8. 2. Exodus 3:13-14. 3. Ebed 15:2, 17-16. 4. See Torah or Esther 95 AD. 5. As alluded to in the verse, those things that are concealed are to God our God, and those things that are revealed are to us and our children. Deuteronomy 29:28. 6. See the article Chedva, the secret of breathing, in the Hebrew volume, Sinai. 7. See pages 50 and pages 90. 8. This particular revelation of the Almighty was frequently discussed by the Baal Shem Tov using its Kabbalistic name, the light that carries the burden of all worlds. 9. Like letters, vowel signs have numerical values. Vowel signs are made up of lines and points. A point, which resembles a letter Yud, equals 10, while a line, which resembles the letter Vav, equals 6. Thus, the 7 points of the vowel signs under this name total 70. 156. What you need to know about Kabbalah by making the letters readable. The Hebrew vowel signs give life to the letters and therefore in Kabbalah are considered to be the lights within the vessels of the letters. 10. Genesis 1:3. 11. Chagiga 12a. 12. Genesis 1:1. 13. Not to be confused with the Hebrew word ahava, which means love. 14. In fact, there is an entire volume of Chassidic teachings titled Or Haganus written by Rabbi Yehuda Leib of Anipolia, a contemporary and close friend of Rabbi Sneur Zalman of Liadi, which interprets the significance of each of the implicit appearances of this name in the 5 books of Moses. 15. Isaiah 41:7. 16. Ebed 49:6. 17. Psalms 52:3. 18. Ebed 89:3. There is another related name, pronounced Eloka, which generally signifies the divinity inherent in the Sephirah of loving kindness. The two letters of Keel are also the first two letters of this name. 19. Genesis 6:2. 20. See Exodus 22:8, and elsewhere. 21. There is another manifestation of the name Elukim in the Sephirah of acknowledgement. When in acknowledgement, Elukim appears in conjunction with the name Tzvakat, which we will discuss presently. See for example Psalms 59:6, and elsewhere. 22. Together, understanding, might, and kingdom represent the three periods or states of the feminine life cycle. Kingdom represents the stage of being a daughter. Might represents the stage of being a sister. And understanding represents motherhood. 23. In addition, when appearing in conjunction with the sanctified name Tzvakat, this name becomes the vessel of the Sephirah of victory, as will presently be explained. 24. I Samuel 1:11. 25. Baratrit 31b. Ta'anit 5b. Chapter 9, The Sanctified Names. 157:26. Genesis 32:23-33. As explained in Chapter 6, victory corresponds to the right foot. 27. I Samuel 15:29. 28. Chagiga 12a. 29. Exodus 6:3. 30. Ebed 3:15.